The Top Knot Creative Show, the Top Knot Creative Show. Seeking super smart, super talented superheroes. How to be wow over the world and all around. The Top Knot Creative Show, the Top Knot Creative Show.
Hello everyone, this is Shantae Schrader and welcome to the show where we seek out the super smart, super talented, and basically the superheroes who are taking over the world and making it super wow. Today we are talking with Annie Peterson, the owner of Chic Bridal Boutique. It's a company based on the belief that their customers' needs are of the utmost importance, and here's why. They are in the gown, they make custom-made gowns for brides, and any bride or bride-to-be note, this is one of the most important moments of that day for them. So we are so eager to find out more about Annie, about Chic Bridal Boutique, and what they do and how they made a name for themselves. So without further ado, Annie, welcome to the show.
Hi, yeah, I'm Annie Peterson, and I'm here to chat with you about Chic Bridal Boutique, and thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Now, when did you get started with this, and when did Chic Bridal Boutique, when was it established?
It was established in the worst possible time in the economy when we had the recession. So in the 2008, about the December 2008 is when we established our business, and I felt like, we needed a presence in Boise, especially, being that there's a lot of chain stores, and, we wanted to offer a little bit something more unique to the Boise area, and especially being downtown, it's got that kind of boutique, quaint setting, and like I said, we did start at the bottom of the economy when it was not doing very well, but, we've been growing, and we've made a name for ourselves as far as, we just expanded. We have almost double the square footage than we first started. So, things are going well as far as that goes.
When were you turned on to I guess building custom gowns or just sewing in general?
Actually, we don't do any of the sewing, but what we do is we have the companies, overseas, especially in Europe. We have a lot of the companies that are based in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and then, some of the designers are Australian designers, a lot of more the European influence, and then, of course, we have some designers that are United States, so, that we do keep it, we don't buy from China and things like that.
So you have to have a pretty in-depth knowledge of the craft regardless, whether you're doing the work or you're having someone do it, correct?
Exactly. I mean, because, when we're selling the gowns, you want to be able to know, the fabrics and if they'll be able to be altered and things like that, And then, of course, the silhouette, different body styles and things like that is very important to know, when we are fitting the model, or the brides and things like that.
So has this always been something that's been of interest to you, or was it you saw the need and that's when you decided to dive in and start looking?
It's always been an interest. When I was younger, 3 years old, I always had my own little store, so I would bring out all my clothes, and I would always play store. And then, I've always liked fashion. I've always liked to be on top of the trends. And with this, the bridal gown is the most expensive and most important gown that a girl's ever going to own. And so I just thought a need to have a place here in Boise, downtown, where it's a little bit more specialized and boutique. And so I guess, it started when I was younger. But no, unfortunately, I can't sew. I did try to design dresses, and that was okay. But, whereas you have to go overseas, have them produced in China, I didn't want to do that. We want to keep it local and, in the United States or even, in Europe.
So tell me part of the process. A bride-to-be approaches you. What's the first meeting like, and what kind of happens after?
Okay, well, when they come into our store, usually we ask them a few questions, what's their inspiration, what kind of wedding are they going to have, and themes and things like that. And then, we talk with them. I mean, it's very, very important in the first initial contact when we meet with them to set up the budget so we know not to put them in the most expensive gown when their budget's limited. and then, see kind of what styles, because a lot of girls do their research online, like, like the Knot and other magazines, and they bring in pictures, and so we kind of try to help them fit that as far as, like, like looking at the styles and silhouettes, and, like, their venue is very important, because if they're getting married on the beach, they're not going to want a big satin ball gown, because their venue is such that it would not hold that, so if they're getting married, like, out in the woods, a lot of times girls will do, like, the vintage lace and things like that. And so we try to really work with them to, because they have a clear vision of what they want their wedding to look like. And so we help them from start to finish, and even add ideas like, like with their venue and, like, setting up, because we do a day of the event, so we can actually go out there with the brides, help them get dressed and ready, and then also, like, help them plan their wedding and make sure that their vision is taken care of for their wedding day.
Now, as part of that process, do they actually see a mock-up of the dress beforehand? How does that work visually?
Yeah, well, what we do is we have sample pieces from our designers, and we're the only ones in Idaho that carry the designers that we have, so girls come here, they find us on, like, the Knot or in bridal magazines nationwide. And like I said, since we're the only ones in Idaho that have the designers that we have, a lot of girls, we get girls from Utah, we get them from California, Oregon, Washington, all over, because, we do have very, very unique gowns, and we do have, the traditional ones, and we have various price points for all different brides, and also the, different sizes, but primarily, I go to market, whether it be internationally, like in Europe or New York, and then pick out the gowns off the runways, and then the girls can come in and try on the gowns, and then so that's kind of how that process works.
Excellent. Now, I imagine they come in. Do they do fittings with you as well?
Yes, a lot of times. Yes, when we order the gown, which takes usually about 4 to 6 months to order a gown, if we have a sample one, it might be in the ivory and they want it in white, and then, based on their measurements, we send it into the company, and then the dress comes back, and then they have their fitting, and then we actually have outside alterations. We have a couple ladies that work from their home, so to keep the cost down for alterations, because they buy the gown, and then alterations are extra, so we really try to keep the cost down for them when they are getting their custom gown.
Mm-hmm. Now, what to you, in your mind, what's the benefit of going and getting a custom gown versus going to a David's Bridal?
The benefit for us is the fact that, we are local. We're not a chain store. I started the business, and a lot of people in Idaho, and especially the Boise area, really do promote buying locally. That's just a really, really good thing. And then the other thing is that the customer service that we provide, that's like our most important aspect of the business is, making sure that the bride has a really good experience, just taking an interest in them, like I said, from start to finish. And as far as, like, getting the custom design gown, is that they can allow, we can kind of play like stylists with them. That's kind of another role that we have, is we could help them find, like, the veil and the accessories and just put the full look together, from head to toe, so we can help them create, how they saw themselves, and things like that.
Now, that must be pretty powerful to be able to put that together to them and be witnessing their first moment seeing themselves that way.
Yeah, and a lot of times, if it is the first time they've tried on gowns, there's a lot of crying, and, because it's an emotional time, and some girls that, aren't usually normally used to wearing dresses, they're, the girls that are a little bit more outdoorsy, things like that, or they just, they just don't like to dress up, but, when you put the gown on and it has a little bit of sparkle and the embellishments and then the veil, it kind of puts the look together, and they see themselves and their family members see themselves, and it kind of all hits them that they're getting married, and so it's a really, really neat moment that you get to share with the brides and their family.
Love it. I imagine that would be one major perk of what you do.
Definitely. You get to see a lot of different personalities, and it's kind of fun because then that way you can kind of see what style they have, you know, in their personal life, and then, you know, you transform it, and so they get the gown of their dreams, so that it's really worthwhile in that respect.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had any, like, super outrageous requests?
I'm just trying to think. A lot. That's a good question. I'm just trying to think of one where we've had a lot of girls, like, the destination weddings, like in Hawaii,
mm-hmm.
and I'm just trying to think of kind of an outrageous one. I can't think of one right now, but I'm sure I can at a later time. But right now, nothing's coming to me at the moment.
Well, I imagine people kind of, you stick with a little bit of tradition always when it comes to a wedding dress. Now, as far as growing the business and, you know, the very, very linear side of it, what's that been like?
Oh, as far as that, well, I've always, like, known that, you know, I've wanted to be in fashion, and I saw a need here. And as far as, like, growing the business, I mean, literally, like, I do it all. I wear a lot of different hats. I do the marketing. I do the human resource, like, you know,
mm-hmm.
things like that. It's really important, obviously, like, right now, to have, like, the social media as far as marketing goes. And so we're trying to get more involved with that, and, you know, be like Twitter, and because that's like growing the business. And as far as, I mean, our biggest thing is advertising is for the word of mouth. We've had brides come back, oh, my friend got her dress here, I'm going to get my dress here, or my sister got it. And so we've had that for the constant 4 years, and, you know, that's just providing really good customer service. And we do have a little bit of a niche in the market because, you know, we are specialized as far as nobody else has the gowns we have in Idaho. You know, we have the most expensive gowns in Idaho, and, you know, it just all makes it it's all encompassing as far as, like, growing the business. You know, it just takes marketing and really good employees and, you know, just the knowledge of the gowns. And, you know, so then that way when we're selling, you know, the gowns, we have the knowledge, we have the product, and we have, you know, the expertise, and so it kind of all fits together really well.
Now, how you have a staff, is that?
Yeah.
And how big have you grown to so far?
We used to, I mean, it's not very big because we have, like, about 5 people.
Mm-hmm. But that's bigger than one.
I'm using all the time.
yeah, starting bigger than, so do you have, like, a 5-year plan of growing out globally or anything like that?
As far as the 5-year plan, I think, I mean, if we were to expand in different markets, or different states, it would I probably don't think I would do that. I don't really want to, like, ever really franchise necessarily, because then that's when it becomes, like, kind of like your David's Bridal or the chain stores. You know, I like to keep it kind of a little bit smaller,
very
and
exclusive.
Local. Yeah, exclusive indeed.
So if someone was looking to make a custom gown and to either work with you or someone, what are the things that they should be looking for when it comes to the people and the company that they work with? Okay, well, that's the other thing is that's a good point, because right now our biggest problem is a lot of girls going online and they're saying that you can get a custom gown like our designers that we carry, and that's our biggest threat right now. And all across the United States, different retailers would tell you, or, you know, bridal boutiques and salons would say that it is a huge concern, because they've even have, like, different manufacturers trying to stop this. Like, it's like basically like stealing. The Chinese are stealing, you know, the different designers' patterns, and then they're passing them off as their own. And a lot of online shopping is done that way, and so girls are looking for bridal gowns. They'll come in and they'll basically take our time, you know, and get all the knowledge about the dress, and then go order it online for, like, a fifth of the price, or, you know, even half price. And that's like a
it's basically called like storefront theft, and they use, you know, the showroom, they use our time, and then they like get all the information, and then they just go and order it online, and that's a really big problem. Like, that would be our biggest concern, and it's all nationwide too, because I mean, we spend all this time with them, and then they go and then they buy their gowns online, and most of the time they come from China, and they're not what they ordered, and they're claiming that it's what the designer is. But, you know, if you go to our store, the boutique setting, you can get your gown custom fitted the way you want it to, you know, with some alterations, you know, like if it's strapless and you wanted to add little, like a little caplet sleeve, you know, we can help you design all that. And so that's kind of where our specialty lies.
Love it. Now, what are the things that you would love for your brides to be to consider before they have that first conversation with you?
What I think it's really nice is when they do kind of go online. Like, I mean, now Pinterest is huge, and so we get a lot of girls coming in, or when they go to the Knot or Bride magazine, you know, and then that way it gives them a little bit of knowledge of, you know, like the different gown styles, silhouettes, and of course, you know, like kind of what they really want their wedding to look like. You know, if they want like a vintage theme, you know, then a lot of times if they have a vintage theme, they'll be like, well, I want lace, or, you know, and then they'll want like the birdcage veils, and so it kind of all fits together, kind of like a puzzle. Or, you know, you might have a bride whose personality is trendy and kind of sassy, so then of course we have a dress for them that's a little bit more cutting edge, and, you know, a little bit edgier, and, you know, and then that'll fit into their wedding and their venue and things like that. So we kind of just help them kind of figure out where they want to go. Or sometimes there's brides that come in who are a blank slate. They don't even know what they want. They've never tried on dresses. They don't like dresses. So then that way, you know, we kind of have to start the process. You know, it's like a new process, and it's a challenge because, you know, they don't know what they want. But, you know, then that's our job to guide them and show them, you know, based on our expertise, what would look good on them as far as their silhouette and their body shape, structure, and things like that.
Now, have you ever had a moment where they come in for the fitting and the dress doesn't fit or something?
Oh yeah. That happens a lot, because 9 times out of 10 girls will say, you know what, I'm going to lose weight. And that seems to be like all of our, you know, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, and, you know, that does affect the dress size. But a lot of times when we handle that is that there's a lot of the designers that we carry, they give us a seam allowance on the dress. So if it is too small, you can always let it out a little bit. And then if it is too big, you know, obviously that's really, really easy to take the dress in. But, I mean, a lot of times, you know, there have been times where people get stressed and so they don't eat, or they get stressed and they do eat. So, you know, you have to account for all that. And like I said, it's really, our alterations ladies, they do a really, really good job, like, by letting the seams out. If they've gained some weight or if they've lost some weight, they can just let them in. So, I mean, there's been examples where we had a girl buy a sample dress, and she was like a size 0, and we had a gown that was a size 14, and they fit it to her perfectly. So, I mean, you can alter just about anything, but it, of course, is easier to let it take it in rather than let it out. But, I mean, it's all manageable.
Now, the day of, you said that you provide that service of helping them get ready?
Yeah, a lot of times the brides will come in and, you know, they'll find their gown, and then, you know, based on the style of their gown, you know, they'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to be doing a garden party wedding. And so we go out to the sites, you know, where they're going to be getting married. We kind of coordinate everything, make sure that the vendors are there when they're supposed to be, help them get dressed, you know, get them all pretty with their veils and things like that. And then, you know, even help them, like, you know, just be there basically to make sure, like, the caterer's there, the bridesmaids are where they're supposed to be. Kind of just make sure that they don't have to stress out on their wedding, you know, and things like that. So it's like a day of the event coordinating service. But it is kind of cool because we get to work with the brides from, like, start to finish, you know, with picking out their gowns to when they walk down the aisle and making sure that the bridal party and everybody is where they're supposed to be. So it is a really neat process that we all get to participate in.
Love it. Now, if someone were looking to kind of walk in your shoes and start their own business or even do something within this field of expertise, what kind of tips would you give them?
I think the most important thing is to really just be passionate about what you do, and because then you go to work every day, and it's just fulfilling because you basically get to work for yourself. And like I was telling somebody the other day, I just love my job because every day something is different and new. You meet different people, and I just really think it's important to have a passion for what you do. It doesn't matter what it is, but and then that way it's not like a job. It's just it's just having fun. So basically, I think that's kind of an important thing to consider when you are starting your own business.
Definitely. Now, if someone wanted to, visit Chic Bridal Boutique or set something up with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with us is probably through our website, because then that way you can set up appointments and in the inquiries we go through. And that email is, or first of all, the website to use is www.chicbridalboutique.com. And then our email is info@chicbridalboutique.com. And then, of course, to schedule an appointment, the best phone number is 208-424-8900.
Excellent. And we will have all those links on the website. I encourage everyone to go to the website and check that out. And Annie, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. I really appreciated talking to you.
Of course. And to our audience, thank you for listening. Now get out there and build something beautiful. Until next time, take care.